was free.
Okay, so before we get going with what I've actually presented today, we're going to do an experiment. I've got some mathematics over there. Here's the toilet. We're going to get a chance to use the toilet. I need somebody to be my timer today. Who's got to stop watching their phone? Toilet, everyone. Okay, everyone in this room is going to have a chance to use the toilet. I need you to sanitize, please. Sanitize the seat. And we're going to see how quickly we can get through the toilet usage. Okay, and then when you're done, you obviously... can somebody go get some toilet paper quickly?
I don't know what's going on.
Play some games. So thank you for respect.
Are you going to enter the bathroom?
Yeah, you need to not put my foot at the head door. My toilet paper now, which I suppose you could use also, and then you can do your flush. Okay, here we go. So everybody's going to get a chance to do this. There's no particular order. Who's got my timer? Okay, are we ready? We all need to go as quickly as possible. The point of this exercise is we're just going to work with this number of 2,933. These 11 liters of water in my toilet. In an average toilet, there's about 11 liters. We just need to quickly time how quickly we can get through that. Open the door. And sanitize, sanitize, sanitize! All right, one or two doesn't matter.
Next!
Don't forget to flush.
Flush!
Flush!
I don't know.
See the doors move. You just need a fancier bathroom, one of those. There we go. Here we go. Quickly, guys. We need to go quickly. Let's go. Right, our first lady. There we go. Who's left? And I'll be working quickly. The door's locked!
Just kick it!
Okay, let's do some math here, which I need to admit wasn't my strong point. Times 17 divided by 60.
76 minutes.
76 minutes. All right. So just bear in mind, and I'll discuss this now when I start my keynote talk, that it would take you 76 minutes, so just over an hour, to get through that amount. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. I'm always very grateful for your time, and I've got something very important to talk about. It stems from an article I've written. And most of what I do is writing and research at the moment. So I'm not going to go through the whole article. I'm not going to read the whole article. But we're just going to stick to some very, very important points here. Just a quick crash course on myself, because some of you may have no idea who I am. Who doesn't know who I am? Daniel, I'm just myself about you. A quick crash course on myself. My name is Jean-Pierre Murray-Kline. I was born in 1983, which means I am quite a bit older than you, but not as old as everyone in the room. I came from a very humble beginning. I grew up in a Plumstead, which we called Upper Plumstead, which is a joke because people who live in Plumstead call it Upper Constantia. So people in Southfield, anyway, you have to be there to get it. I'm one of 9 children that we know of. There could be more. Just don't know. And a humble beginning. My mom used to sell toffee apples and fudge outside my school to help pay for my school fees. And I started working at a very young age of 16 in high school. From there I went into events, and then I went into marketing, and I then went into strategy, and then I went into technology and innovation and training. So I have done some very, very interesting things. Let's hope this works. All right, so these are just some of my clients. That's a brag page for me. I don't know if you can see any of those logos. We'd have to squint. So this is one of one of 17 pages of my clients' logos. So I'm very, very proud, very blessed to have all these clients in the past. So I'm very, very, very excited about it. My first client was South African Breweries. I remember my first payment from there. It was 22,500 Rand, and it was on a check. So I was very, very, very excited about that. I have since then worked in about 300 different types of sectors and industries, either directly or through consultancy. And I've also been very fortunate to be able to travel to about 40 cities around the world. I call myself a future thinker, and my technical career name at the moment is called a business and environmental technologist. You can Google it. You won't find anything about it. It's a name I made up because I do so many different things. And essentially, I study technology, trends, humanity, and everything that holds them all together, the relationship between them all. To pay the bills, there's three things I do at the moment. The one is I am a digital architect and scenario planner, and that's really having discussions with corporates and businesses and organizations talking about the future and all sorts of trends which are unraveling in the world. And there's some exciting things happening. I don't know if you can see anything on the screen here, but things such as data science. Is anyone studying data science?
My first time here that means data science.
It's very different to data must fall, or fees must fall, those kind of things. There's Internet of Things. Who's heard of a smart city? Smart cities, automation, blockchain. So there's all these innovative things which are unraveling in the world. They're trends, and I discuss these with businesses. The other thing I do to pay the bill is marketing for businesses, specifically digital marketing or e-marketing. So I deal with things like search engine optimization. I deal with things like PPC. I was helping Chad this past week with a PPC campaign. Very frustrating, Google, they keep changing things. Social media, online reputation management, and all these sort of things. So that's the second thing I do. And then the final thing I do is I have these kind of conversations with businesses and organizations, and really anyone I can get into a room. And I talk about four different themes. And my first theme is called the now. The second one is healthy and ethical technologies and human practices. And then the e-business, and because I love entrepreneurs. I think entrepreneurs are going to save our economy. So I hope all of you start a business at some point in your lives.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
are you starting a business?
Yes.
Okay, that's brilliant. Good for you. And you too.
I want to invest in her business.
Ah.
Yeah, he actually did say that.
Well, you've got witnesses now, so you definitely get your seed capital for that gentleman at the back over there.
Yeah.
So the future is obviously the most interesting talk I like to give. All right. In my spare time, of which I don't have much, I'm a writer, so I'm a published author as well. And there's a whole lot of interesting subjects which I like to write about. At any time I'm studying about 16 different subjects, and by the time I've got to the bottom of my list, I have to start again, because that's how the world works. It keeps changing. So I'm constantly studying. I study about 3 nights a week, and then often on weekends, and I even go away every other weekend, and I do an anti-digital weekend. I'm doing it next weekend. And I study a specific subject to prepare an article. But some of the things I write about are esports, e-behavior, you may have recognized Conrad there, 5G, alternative energy, automation, and all those interesting sort of subjects over there. Over time, I've managed to get some press, which is fantastic. I'd like to get some more press. And I've also started doing some online videos. I'm trying to be like Casper Lee and he and Old Hip. So I've got those videos up online. And I've also managed to get myself a Facebook business page, and I've got about 100,000 followers online at the moment, listening and engaging to me. And one of the things I do, and it's sort of a tradition with a talk like this, is I do a quick selfie picture with everyone in the background. Would everyone be happy with that? No objections? Okay, here we go. I'm going to stand my distance quickly. Gotta have that distance. Here we go. All right, here we go. Big smiles. Sorry. It's on a 10-second timer, which is just too much. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Yeah.
Great, excellent. Maybe I can make you all very famous. Right, so here we go. Right, so let's get going into the reason I'm here to talk today, which is about sustainable and ethical business. Now, I know most of you don't have businesses yet, and that doesn't matter. I started my first one at the age of 16, and there's no reason why you can't start your own business. And in fact, in the fields that you study in this very building, your performing arts profession is a type of business, and you must treat it like a business. So let's talk about ethical and sustainable business, and you can apply to non-profit organizations as well. I know that you've all probably heard the words ethical and also sustainable, but in context of what I'm going to chat about today, I'm just going to paint a very different picture. So in the future, there's only going to be ethical and sustainable businesses. And the reason for that is in the future, you're going to have an ethical shopper. Has anyone heard of an ethical shopper? Are any of you ethical shoppers? Don't know yet. An ethical shopper, before they go to the till, or be it online and do a checkout, they're going to be asking themselves a question. Has this product or this service arrived on the shelf in a sustainable or ethical way? And if the answer in their mind is no, they're going to leave the shop. So that's going to happen in the future, and one of those things that are going to be a consideration. I just want to acknowledge the fact that it's very difficult for me to convince people today to think about tomorrow, especially in South Africa, because we've got so many challenges at the moment. We've got corruption, we've got politics, we've got bad race relations. What other problems do we have? We've got load shedding. What else is unique?
Poverty.
Yeah.
Poverty, yeah, we've got a huge poverty gap, probably the biggest in the world. I've been hijacked. I've got my marks and my scars over here. I was on my way to an event and they just come up with the rule that you need to pull over before you talk on your phone. So I did. And that's where it happened. So anyway, so I got Bluetooth. So yes, we've got all these challenges, and South Africans are going to have to burn the candle at both ends, otherwise we're going to be left behind, and we really, really don't want to be left behind. So I acknowledge that life is very difficult at the moment. In fact, all of us are probably carrying, lots of burdens. Probably we've got all sorts of personal challenges which we have to deal with, but we have to think about the future. We don't want to be left behind. Right. So let's talk about the mindset of businesses. They always go through themselves, they ask themselves some questions, well, why should we change? What is it that we're going to get from it? What's the benefit for us? And that's perfectly natural for a business, so I want to quickly unpack some of those sort of concepts quickly. We spoke about the ethical and the sustainable future shopper. And the reason they're going to make those decisions in the future is because they want no part in something called ecocide. Hello! Oh, wait. I have a guest appearance. Some celebrities here. It's awful when they dress better than me. Alright, who's heard of ecocide? No one. Okay, it's something you're going to be hearing about in the future. Ecocide is essentially the destruction of the natural environment or resources or living things. And it is an actual word. And in the future, it's going to have criminal ramifications, actual legal ramifications. I would love you guys after this chat to quickly go Google the International Criminal Court. Have any of you heard of the International Criminal Court? Okay, ICC. Alright. So they have a matter under review at the moment, and they basically have to decide for a specific matter that if damaging. We have another guest appearance. Very Okay, thank you for joining. A bit late. Alright, so where was I? What was the last thing I said? Got a memory of a goldfish.
ICC.
Okay, International Criminal Court. So please go Google. They've got a matter under consideration at the moment, and if they decide that damaging the environment is a criminal offence, it means the 127 countries or states which are members to the International Criminal Court, of which South Africa is a member. Zuma tried to remove us from the International Criminal Court. It's now a matter sitting on the desk of Cyril, so I suspect we'll stay part of the International Criminal Court, which means that damaging the environment in the future or hurting living things could become a criminal offense.
It should.
Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
All right, good stuff. All right, back to the why. All right, so for business, we're going to have these flip-flopping customers, which is a problem now. If any of you have tried to start to run a business, it's difficult to get a client. It's even harder to keep that client because they keep going and checking out their competitors. It's especially common online. So businesses are really going to have to address the flip-flopping ethical shopper in the future. At the bigger picture, when we look at society, we're dealing with a much, much bigger problem. We're dealing with people who are ignorant, they don't have access to information, or worse, they have access to information and they're just being irresponsible. And this is a big problem. And it comes down to education, and education is something we need to address in South Africa to solve most of our problems. So you may ask, if we've got pending doom and gloom, surely people are going to start making the right decisions. One would think that's the reasonable action. If you look back at history, is that what humanity has done? No, not at all. So history is often a very good teacher, and it's just not what we do. I want to unpack one reason that may be happening, and it's called tribalism. And there's lots of different meanings to the word tribalism. There's one you'll find on Google, everyone will have a different opinion on it. But today, what I'm talking about, the type of tribalism, is people or groups who protect their ways of life to allow their group to advance. And you get different types of tribes. You can just take a message from me. Thanks. I should actually switch off my own phone. So you get different types of tribes. You get tribes in business. You get tribes in culture. You get tribes in organizations. You get tribes in government. You get religious tribes, tribes in gender, sports. Your family is even a type of a tribe. And during your life, you can move to multiple tribes. You can belong to multiple tribes. But there's one thing in common with all tribes, and they are all consumers, and they are all wasters. Granted, some tribes are more efficient than others. I've got two little pictures up here of two tribes. One is a corporate tribe, and one is a tribe in Parliament. I'll let you imagine which one is more efficient out of those tribes. All right. Just on the point of tribes, quick. Tribes or tribalism in the past actually worked very well for civilizations. Probably one of the reasons the Industrial Revolution arrived. And we've probably got quite a few inventions from tribalism as well. It won't work in the future, and it's simply because there are too many people and too little resources. So on the subject of where we are as a society now, I'd like to show two videos. They are both very graphic, so I'm just warning you now up front. And if you are a sensitive viewer, I would like you to close your eyes for approximately 3 minutes, and perhaps even your ears, if you can do that. Let's see if I can get it to work, because I'm bouncing this off my phone. All right, I'll explain it now. Where's my mouse? Let's show this one first. Right, what we're looking at is a bay. It's in Japan. It's a cove, and we've got some fishermen catching dolphins and small whales. They have a net. And now the fishermen jump into the enclosed area, and they're tying the dolphins' tails so that they can't escape. Okay, you see that happening? And now, because they know there's negative media, they're drawing a curtain over the entire bay so people can't see what's happening.
A metal rod was stabbed into their spinal cord, where they were left to bleed out and suffocate and die. After a traumatic 4 days held captive in the killing cove, They experienced violent captive selection, being separated from their family, and then eventually were killed today. These dolphin slaughters occur almost daily for 6 months. This dolphin drive season begins September and continues through the months of March. These dolphin killers will go out and hunt these dolphins and small whales almost daily. Slaughters occur and dolphins are taken captive from marine parks around the world.
That's the code there. All right. Let's see if I can play this other one. All right. So this video is filmed from my couch, and I was watching it on a Sunday. It's a film.
Again?
Hello, come on in. Hello. Chad getting a visitor, okay. So I filmed this on my couch. It was a Sunday, and it's a video called Sea Conspiracies, I think, and it's on Netflix. Let me quickly play it. It's on the same cove. And I did little snippets of this video. Some dolphins. So those are our whales. Walking in blood. So who wants to take a guess on what happened after I watched that? Go on.
You cried.
I cried.
Wait.
So it was horrible. So yeah, it was something that happened.
You have 2 hands here at the back.
Yes.
What do they exactly want from the dolphins?
I was about to get onto that. That's an excellent question, a very natural question as well. So you may think that they're killing the animals to consume them, yes? So that's not the case. What's happening is in Japan, tuna is a very popular fish. In fact, it's worth a lot of money. Who's got their phone and it's on data now?
Yeah.
Will you quickly just Google the most valuable tuna ever sold in Japan? While he's doing that, let me quickly explain what was happening there.
Okay.
So dolphins and small whales may consume tuna, and it's a commodity there. Have you got the number there?
$3.1 million.
$3.1 million for a tuna. What's that in rands? That's a very nice house. For a fish.
That's 43 million.
43 million. That's very nice. And a car. Okay. So what happens is they're very, very valuable fish. And all that's happening is there's only a limited amount of fish. And the dolphins are trying to eat the fish. So the tribe, the commercial tribe, goes out there and knocks out and wipes out their competitor. So they're killing their competitor so that they can have the resource. And that is all that's happening. So it's a horrible cove, and yeah, you can go Google that. All right, let's get into some more facts, just continuing the subject of the status of our society. So we have almost 8 billion people living today. That's a lot. And every day we eat 140 million burgers. We like our burgers. Right, now we're going to get onto the math here. In order to make that patty on your burger, you need 2,393 liters of water and 64.5 square feet of land. Now, if you work out that size of land to sustain that amount of burgers, it's 3 times the size of the United Kingdom. Just for our burgers. I'm not thinking about ribs, I'm not thinking about chicken or any other animal product. It will take you 76 minutes of constantly flushing the toilet to use the same amount of water a cow and the cow's food uses just to give you that burger. All right. Every day, We burn 96 million barrels of oil. We cut down 2.4 million trees. 8 million pieces of plastic reach the ocean. 3.5 million tons of food is wasted. Who's ever seen a 1-ton bakkie? Seen a bakkie? A 1-ton bakkie? It's a slightly bigger one. Imagine 3.5 million of those parked in a parking bay. How big would that parking bay be? Of 3.5 million vehicles. Filled every day with food, which is wasted. And that is despite the fact that 700 million people around the world don't have enough food. Humanity uses the equivalent of 1.6 Earth's resources to provide what we need to consume and live, and also get rid of our waste. About it's a big number, 1 trillion single-use plastic bags are used annually. That's 2 million plastic bags every minute. The extinction rates for plants and animals at the moment are hundreds, if not thousands of times higher than the baseline rate. Only 23% of our Earth's surface, excluding Antarctica, and 13% of our oceans is still considered wildlife. I can go on and on and on about these horrific facts. They're all out there in the public. We've been trained not to absorb it. It goes in one ear, goes out another ear, or over our head. You are probably all going to forget some of these facts later on. I hope you don't. I hope some of it sticks. But if it does not stick, there's just one thing I'd like to stick in your head, is that the normal that we were doing wasn't right. Right. Any of those facts scare you? Anyone? No? Okay. All right. So the work environment is where most of the nonsense happens, which was my previous slide. It's where we sustain these bad habits, and we even justify them with commercialists, and even government justifies some of our bad habits. Change has to happen, and in a very short period of time. Otherwise, we've got 2 scenarios at play. The first one is all the children born today are going to inherit a type of hell on earth, and it will be a type of hell on earth. If you thought COVID was bad, that's nothing considered compared to potential future disasters. So the other scenario is that businesses are going to learn to integrate back into society and nature and the ecosystem. Anyone want to take a guess what window of time we've got to make this change? Anyone? There's no right or wrong answers.
Isn't it like 29 years or something?
So some people think it's 29, 30 years.
Not 5 or 10 years.
It's less. We're now sitting on a window of approximately 5 years to change our trajectory. Otherwise, we're going to be in some serious, serious trouble. All right, so let me discuss some business concepts which I hope inspire discussions in your future workplaces. We've all got an opportunity to be an ethical and a sustainable person. I know most people here today represent a non-profit organization, but whether you profit or not, we all have this option, we can all become a future an ethical, sustainable person. So this was a slide I added to this talk today because of where I am. On the bottom corner, we've got a magic wand, which is traditionally made out of wood. No, it's made out of plastic. Harry Potter's wand is made out of wood. But the ones that we get are made out of plastic. And plastic is obviously a big problem, yes? Do any of you have wooden magic wands? Wow, times have changed. That's brilliant. Okay, anyway, so what I'm trying to demonstrate here quickly is that, and I know we don't have lots of magic wands floating around in the ocean. I know it's not a problem. I know we've got straws and cigarette butts, but it's still plastic and they still end up somewhere. And what I wanted to demonstrate is that we've also got paintbrushes, and it's a similar shape, and you could repurpose it. In fact, it's a business idea for someone. Now, the slide I normally use is this one. Who likes cars? All right. So at some point you're going to have the option to buy a nice car. I know Alberto is very proud of his car, so he's on social media all the time. Posing with it like a model. So yes, so at some point we're all going to, or hopefully have an opportunity to buy a vehicle. So we've got 2 options here. One is a second-hand BMW, probably for sale in Voortrekker Road, and another one is an electric vehicle available on order on the BMW website. So here's a question: out of these 2 options, which has the lower carbon footprint? Who wants to take a guess? Yes.
BMW.
Well, they're both BMWs. Not BMW.
Electric car, sorry.
The electric car. Is he right?
Yes.
No. This is where we need to think a bit more. The electric cars in South Africa are powered through our power grid. Where do our power grids get their electricity? Coal power stations.
Yes.
But it gets even worse. That car is not made in South Africa, whereas the 3 Series is, or used to be. Which means that car is to be built overseas, imported on a big ship, increasing its carbon footprint.
Yes.
It gets even worse. The car has a big battery in it. That battery has a lifespan of about 7 to 9 years, and then you have to throw it away. There's no way to recycle that battery properly at the moment. Do you know that battery to replace it costs 50% of a brand new car? They're really, really expensive. So we've got a problem now to get that car, we've got a problem while we're running it, and we've got a problem to get rid of it, because who's going to buy a car where they're going to have to pay 50% just to get a new battery again? So there's no resale value for an electric car in South Africa. You can go into any dealership that offers electric cars and you can ask, what will you offer as a buyback? And then they're going to stumble over their words. So we need to think a bit more about what creates a better carbon footprint. But yes, I thought that would be a nice slide to share with you. Right, let's carry on. A sustainable and ethical business does not mean it's less profitable. So we're moving on to some good news now. Why is it going to be more profitable in the future? Because you're going to have sustainable and ethical future shoppers, and they are going to choose to use you over their competitors. Sustainable and ethical businesses are also going to have more desirable staff. They're going to have future thinkers attracted to their business. I feel you all become future thinkers in the future and be attracted to these green businesses. Another thing, or motivator for change, is in the future it's going to be a legislative and almost it's going to become law to be a green business in some way or another. So businesses that are not trying to sustain their supply chain or go green, they are going to be penalized through carbon taxes. In some places around the world that is already happening. And in some places around the world, there are examples of businesses which have gone green and now actually receiving rewards or rebates. So that will eventually happen in South Africa. Who knows when our carbon emissions need to start reducing? No one? Okay. So South Africa has signed a number of local and international environmental agreements. The very big one, international, is called the Paris Agreement. What was my mind that no one knows what the Paris Agreement is. Okay, so anyway, South Africa has to start reducing its carbon emissions by 2030. We actually need to start moving our carbon emissions down. And if we don't, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Carbon tax is going to affect every business, and that's going to filter down into communities. It's going to be a substantial cost for communities because most products are going to have a carbon tax put on it. Have you bought anything today? No. Okay. It's a bad example to make. Have you bought anything today? So we have no shoppers here. All right. Most things that we buy in the future are going to have some sort of carbon tax, and services as well will have some sort of carbon tax.
So what if I did buy something?
I would have asked, what did you buy?
Okay.
And then I would have said, that is going to have carbon tax on it.
But how does carbon tax work?
So, have you heard of sugar tax?
No.
Okay. Do you use sugar?
Yes.
Okay, so any product that we buy in South Africa right now has got and has sugar in it has got a sugar tax on it, and that goes towards the government. And the government is charging more for sugar products because they want you to be using less sugar in your diet.
Okay.
So in the future, the same thing is going to apply for carbon. Hello.
So for anything that you buy, that will happen.
Will have a carbon tax on it. It is going to be, it's already implemented in some products, like when you buy a new vehicle, it's got a carbon tax on it of a couple of thousand rand. Yeah, the gentleman at the back has his hand up.
So I think you've answered my question. I wanted to ask, who's going to pay the tax? Is it you, the person who's buying the product, or the company that manufactures
So the consumer is going to suffer all the costs.
Yeah.
Fine.
But we all,
Yeah.
I know most of you haven't started paying taxes yet. It's going to happen. So it's just one of those things. Right, so I want to quickly talk about the type of economy we've got at the moment. I'm almost finished chatting today, so you've all done very well. Thanks for listening so far. We've got something called a traditional, well, it's a traditional linear economy, or I like to call it the take, make, and dispose model of production. The problem with it is we simply don't have enough resources anymore, and there are too many people. It's just not going to work in the future. In the future, an ethical and sustainable business is going to work very well in a circular and a subscription economy. Let me quickly explain what that is. So a circular economy runs on a few principles. The first one is responsible consumption, product lifetime extension. This is the big one because most of the products we buy today have been designed specifically to last a period of time, and then the company wants to sell you a brand new one. Right. Sustainable procurement. Are you buying a local product service to make your product? Eco-design, industrial and territorial ecology. That's a very important one. Are you making something in an area that is harmful for the environment or not? Right. If you're making glass, you may want to build it in the desert because you need sand for that, so it will probably be okay. But anyway, the economy of functionality, improvement on waste prevention and management and recycling. Right now, we've only really tackled recycling. So a sustainable and ethical business can adopt lots of things on the circular economy. I don't want to miss out on the point of big data. Big data is going to be a huge thing. It enables a future business alongside the future shopper. I'm doing this gently because I don't want another paper cut. I don't do pain. Let's talk about a subscription economy quickly. Subscribe! Who's subscribed to anything? Ever? So subscription economy has actually been around a very long time. The one example I like to give is a lawnmower or a gardening service. Who's cut the lawn this week? No. So a gardening service is a type of a subscription service because instead of buying a lawnmower and putting oil and petrol in it and using it on a Saturday and cutting the lawn, you just subscribe to a gardening service and then they do it for you and you don't have to pay for the lawnmower or do any of the work, and it's a much less expensive. Did you cut the lawn? So sorry?
I've got paid for us.
I'm not even going to get into it. Alright, it's evolved a bit more now, the subscription economy. We've got things like Netflix, we've got things like SaaS. Who knows what SaaS is?
Sasa.
No. It's not a sassy person either. It stands for service as a software as a service. So it's a technical thing. It's cloud technology. And in the future, it's going to evolve even further, and it's going to evolve quite quickly. You are not going to own many things in the future. You're probably not going to own a car. It's going to be subscribed to you. You will use your phone. You will walk past a vehicle. Your phone will open it. It's part of an app. And then you park it wherever you are. And if it's a very advanced country, the car may drive itself back, otherwise you just leave it there, and the next person walking by may use it. So it's quite exciting.
I've once seen that video, isn't it? I think there's a country that's doing it.
If it sounds too futuristic, it is already happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But I don't remember which country, but I did see a
some
video.
places in Europe. Of course, in South Africa, where we park our cars, that wasn't discipline.
You don't own your own car. You don't own your own car in the country. Someone, you park the car, leave it there, go wherever you're going, someone else can open the car and take it and use it.
So we have get bought.
Or a different type of...
Yo! Oh my god!
I just want to mention the gig economy quickly. I will definitely take some questions at the end that we get through. I don't want anyone to get too tired. The gig economy is a type of open sourced sort of subscription economy because it deals with human services, and I'd just like to mention the one example, which is Uber. Alright, so circular and subscription economies do some wonderful things for business. They get to offer lots of products and services, and they get to provide more to a client over a longer period of time because they've got that connection through a subscription. And for clients, they don't have to maintain equipment and property, and they still get access to everything they want without having to pay for all the upkeep. So the end result is we start designing our waste and pollution. We start working on a regenerative natural system. We improve economic, natural and social capital, which is a very good thing, and keeping products and materials in play for a longer period of time. What is a sustainable and ethical business in real life practice? Are there any? There are, and there are some in South Africa, and I'd like to show you just two quick examples. Here's the first one. It's a business started out by a lady. Her name is Anna, and it's a wonderful business, and you can go check out her website now. It's yaga.co.za, and what they do on that website is they resell second-hand clothing. Now that may make you feel a bit iffy, but if you go have a look at it, the business itself maintains the quality standards of the clothes, just like Uber ensures that your driver is a good person, a decent person. Obviously what that is doing is it's repurposing second-hand clothing and using technology and innovation and online payments. That's a wonderful business, so that's go check it out. It's yaga.co.za. The second one I like to chat about was started by Candice and Matt, and it's called Wasted. It's got nothing to do with consuming too much alcohol. So their website is, it's Wasted, but with a hyphen in between the waste and ED. And it's a brilliant business, absolutely brilliant. They are the legends or the future thinkers behind EcoBricks. Anyone heard of EcoBricks? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, brilliant business. And they've got this app which is called Track Your Trash app, which you download, and that means you're subscribing to it. So it's a brilliant subscription business. So very, very innovative. Now it's quite difficult for people to live up to the standards of these businesses. I am aware of that. And just to put some spanners in the work further, there's something I always like to tell businesses, and it's a tough pill to swallow, and that is that most businesses today may not be relevant in the future, which means a lot of businesses are going to become obsolete. It is a fact that most people starting school today will end up working in a business that hasn't even been conceptualized yet. Another spanner in the works is ethical and sustainable businesses are going to work really hard at reducing their carbon footprint, so they're going to start using robotics and automation, which means we have this threat to your jobs. I talk about automation a lot. Please go have a look at my website, Jean-Pierre Murray-Kline.co.za. Download that article. It tells you what businesses to look at, what kind of work you can look forward to the future. Who wants to take a guess what the number one job is that isn't under risk of automation at the moment?
Magician.
Stand-up comedian.
No.
Security.
It's actually the safest one to be is a priest. So you may want to be.
I would have guessed like
All right. Suffice to say, everyone, that you will probably still have work in the future, but you need to take control of your own career. There's no such thing as I'm done studying or I'm done school. You need to continuously study and improve yourself. And it's not something that the company that you're working in or the organization you're working in is in charge of. You've got to find that energy. You've got to find that passion for yourself, and you've got to do it. Just a side nugget, I know in South Africa we've got lots of unions as well, and they're going to have to wear a very different cap, because unions at the moment are not focused on encouraging their members to reskill themselves, and that's something that is going to need to happen. There's something called the ethical line when it comes to sustainable and future business, and basically what that means is that a future business is going to put all natural things at the same level as their business priorities. So a future business in the future is really going to become a guardian of natural, social and economic ecosystems. Right, let's talk about action. Oh no, I already changed the slide. Oh, go back. All right, here we go. I love it. We've got to talk about action. This is the part which you really need to remember and how we get started. So that line there, which maybe one day will be famous, is a line which I came up with. Alright, so the line is, there's no need to work out how to do everything all at once before we start doing anything at all. My point is that we already have enough ideas to start working today. So let's talk about some of my ideas. Maybe you have some of your own ideas, but let me just share 7 of mine quickly today. The first one is knowledge. People don't understand how much trouble this planet is actually in. Or they're just naive, or they're being irresponsible. We need to talk about the problems, and we need to talk about the ideas, and then we need to act on one or two of those ideas. Set an objective, and then in a few weeks' time, come back and do the next one. I'm going to acknowledge another point, that when you start doing this, you're going to feel a bit like a tree hugger. Okay? It's going to be a bit of a mindset. When you see rubbish on the floor, you won't walk past until you pick it up, or you insist on using a paper straw. You know, when you start making these decisions and start taking these actions, you're going to feel a bit strange. And that's okay, because in the future, it's going to be alright to think about the environment. It boggles my mind that we have a point in society where we actually just don't consider. Right, second idea. Review your carbon footprint of your future business or your organization, and that's the entire supply chain. So it's not just what happens in the business halls, but what happened before the product items got into your business, and also where your product ends up. Think about energy, water, land, transport, time. Time in a business is resource. People are a resource. Materials and services. How you deal with your waste. And also what you spend your money on. The most powerful tool you've got right now is something which I call green money. If you're spending your money, make sure you are being a sustainable and ethical shopper. Right. No sector is absolved from this. Right. Next idea. There's some free resources available online which you can use to work out your carbon footprint. This one is from conservation.org, and what you do is you put in your basic data, and it will then tell you what your carbon footprint is. And you can go Google that, and it's a wonderful tool to use. I know that big businesses have data and analytics and all these wonderful things. It's actually a field I like to consult on, but for people that are in organizations or perhaps just individuals at home, parents, this is a wonderful tool to even work out what your household is using in terms of carbon footprint. Right, this idea I love. Number 3, you need to create a chief sustainability officer, and this person should be on your management board. They need to have some teeth. You need to be able to make things happen. So everything that happens in a business and an organization, any management board should have a chief sustainability officer. Next one, reintroduce yourself to nature. Your next team build, or your next get together, perhaps even just friends, go out and do something in nature. We've forgotten nature. We've fallen out of love with nature. And what you don't love, you don't protect. So nature is very much like your first love. Do you remember your first love? You kind of move past them, hopefully, at some point. Unless you're very lucky and you're still with them.
And actually, nature is what we live around it. So if we don't protect what we have, we're going to end up not having anything.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
She's speaking the truth. I warned you, we're going to feel like tree huggers, but that's okay. What you're doing is right. So that's good. Reintroduce yourself to nature, fall back in love with nature. I go once a week for a hike. That's a horrible thing to do in the rain, but once a week I'm out in nature. Alright, absolutely do that, please. Right, the 5th idea, you need to make a marketplace for second-hand things, your business or organizations. Stop throwing things away, repurpose, and sometimes you can go into some sort of collaboration with other entities. Hello, Chad. Hi. You're right. Am I running out of time?
You're running out of time.
Okay, I'm on my way. Right, let me skip to my 7th point, which is the last one. And that is, do not greenwash the status of your business or yourself. Basically, if you are spending more money on marketing being a green, sustainable business than actually being a sustainable business, you're doing it wrong. All right, everyone, that brings me to the end of my chat today. I am, again, very grateful for your time, so thank you very much. Were there any questions before Chad takes me off?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
You have lots of questions.
I have one question.
All right, I'll take 2 questions, and if you've got anything else, you can direct DM me on Facebook or even on my website, and I'll respond to everything.
Then it's fine.
Okay, then it's fine.
So, the thing is we can't run away from waste. Waste will always be there. But I think we can control it by minimizing it. But it will always be there.
You're absolutely right. Waste is part of a normal circular system. It's just about what we're doing with it. So, yeah. There's too many people right now, so there's too much waste. So we need to obviously slow down our population limit. Population boom has ended. By 2050, we should be at about 9 billion people. But the Earth can sustain 6 billion. So we're kind of 1.8 billion people over. So yeah. Do you know how many people live on the African continent? 1.4 billion. So China is 1.4 billion people just on that country alone. Anyway, any other questions? Pop me an email. Thank you very much, everyone.